Imagine soaring through the skies, cruising towards your destination. But as you descend, the heart-stopping reality sets in. This is no ordinary landing. Mountains loom on all sides, fierce winds batter your plane, and the runway, well, it's barely there. These are the world's most dangerous airports, where even the most experienced pilots hold their breath, where one wrong move could turn the trip of a lifetime into a battle for survival. Strap in, because today on, we're taking you to the very edge of aviation. Here are the top 5 most dangerous airports in the world, where every landing is a high-stakes game. Number 5. Lukla Airport. Lukla Airport, also known as Tenzing Hillary Airport, perched high in the Himalayan mountains of Nepal, is notorious as one of the most dangerous airports in the world. To land here is to dance with danger, where even the most experienced pilots must rely on precision, nerves of steel, and a deep understanding of the unforgiving environment. Imagine this: you're on a flight to one of the most breathtaking places on Earth, Mount Everest. The excitement builds as the peaks of the Himalayas come into view. But as your plane begins its descent towards Lukla, the serene beauty of the snow-capped mountains transforms into a terrifying realization. You are about to land at an airport that is widely feared across the aviation world. What makes Lukla so dangerous? First, there's the altitude. Lukla Airport sits at an elevation of 9,334 feet above sea level. At this height, the thin air makes it incredibly difficult for airplanes to generate enough lift, both during landing and takeoff. The altitude itself adds a layer of complexity that few other airports in the world can match. But that's just the beginning. The runway at Lukla is only 527 meters long, barely enough for a safe landing. To put that in perspective, most commercial airports have runways that stretch for thousands of meters, giving pilots plenty of room to slow down. At Lukla, there's no such luxury. Pilots must touch down perfectly on this short strip or risk crashing into the steep drop at the end of the runway. And when I say steep, I mean it, because this isn't just a regular airport. At one end of the runway, there's a solid mountain face, and at the other end, a sheer drop into the valley below. There's no room for error. To make matters worse, Lukla's runway isn't even flat. It's sloped, angled upwards at a gradient of 12 degrees, which adds an entirely new level of difficulty. The slope helps slow down planes as they land, but it also makes takeoff much more challenging. Pilots have to accelerate rapidly down this incline to generate enough speed for liftoff before they plunge into the abyss. But the real battle at Lukla isn't just with the terrain, it's with the weather. The Himalayas are notorious for sudden and extreme weather changes. On any given day, clear skies can quickly give way to thick fog, torrential rain, or blinding snow. Visibility can drop to near zero in a matter of minutes. Winds howl through the valley, buffeting planes from side to side, making the already treacherous landing feel like a life-or-death struggle. There are no modern landing aids here, no radar, no electronic guidance systems. Pilots must rely entirely on their skills, their instincts, and visual cues. The stakes couldn't be higher, and if the weather doesn't cooperate, there's no second chance. Pilots must abort their landing and circle back, sometimes for hours, waiting for a break in the clouds. The margin for error is razor thin, and there's no room for hesitation. Each landing is a calculated gamble, where one wrong move can mean disaster. Lukla Airport has seen its fair share of accidents, many of them fatal. Planes have overshot the runway and tumbled into the valley below. Others have slammed into the mountainside, unable to stop in time. For travelers, the thrill of flying to Lukla is tempered by the knowledge that they are placing their lives in the hands of pilots who face some of the most extreme conditions in the world. Yet despite the danger, Lukla remains a vital gateway. It's the primary access point for trekkers and climbers heading to Mount Everest, making it one of the busiest airports in Nepal. Thousands of adventurers flock here every year, driven by the allure of standing at the base of the world's highest peak. For them, the risks are worth it. But every landing at Lukla Airport is a reminder of just how perilous the journey can be. It's a place where the line between life and death is drawn with every takeoff and landing, where the breathtaking beauty of the mountains hides an ever-present danger. As your plane touches down on that narrow, sloped strip of tarmac, with the mountain looming ahead and the drop behind, one thing becomes crystal clear. Lukla Airport is not for the faint of heart. Number 4 is Princess Juliana International Airport. At first glance, Princess Juliana International Airport in St. Martin seems like a tropical paradise, located on a breathtaking Caribbean island. It's surrounded by crystal-clear waters and sandy beaches. But beneath this beauty lies one of the most dramatic and heart-stopping landings a pilot can experience. Imagine yourself relaxing on Maho Beach, enjoying the sun, when suddenly the deafening roar of jet engines fills the air. You look up, and there it is, a massive commercial airliner descending towards the runway, so low that you feel like you could almost reach up and touch it. This is no ordinary airport, and this is no ordinary landing. What makes Princess Juliana International so dangerous isn't just the stunning location, but its terrifying proximity to the beachgoers below. The runway is only 7,546 feet long, barely enough for the large jets that land here daily. Planes must approach the runway at a frighteningly low altitude, skimming just a few feet above the heads of tourists on the beach before touching down. One wrong calculation by the pilot, and the aircraft could end up in the ocean or worse, directly into the packed crowd. But it's not just the short runway that adds to the danger. The unpredictable crosswinds and weather patterns in this region often throw pilots off course, forcing them to make quick adjustments during landing. These skilled professionals must be at the top of their game to land safely on such a challenging strip. Despite the danger, thrill-seekers flock to Maho Beach just to witness these massive planes swoop in at impossibly low altitudes, capturing photos and videos of what feels like a near-death experience. For the pilots, however, it's an entirely different story. Every landing here is a high-stakes maneuver, where even a slight misjudgment can have disastrous consequences. Princess Juliana International Airport may be a wonder for aviation enthusiasts, but make no mistake, each landing is a test of nerves, precision, and sheer expertise. It's a place where beauty and danger collide, creating one of the most thrilling and terrifying airport experiences in the world. Number 3 is Paro Airport. Nestled deep within the towering Himalayas lies one of the most perilous airports on Earth, Paro Airport in Bhutan. It's not just the breathtaking scenery that grabs your attention here, it's the sheer danger that makes every takeoff and landing a nerve-wracking ordeal. Imagine this. You're thousands of feet above sea level, surrounded by jagged mountain peaks as high as 18,000 feet. There's no flat, wide-open land for miles, just rugged terrain and narrow valleys. The plane begins its descent, and suddenly you realize that this is no ordinary landing. Pilots have to navigate through these steep, unforgiving mountain ranges where even the slightest mistake can lead to catastrophic consequences. Paro Airport's runway is just 6,500 feet long, leaving very little margin for error. To put that in perspective, most international airport runways are over 10,000 feet long. Here, the approach is steep and the window for a safe touchdown is razor thin. The airport is located in a deep valley, which means pilots must execute sharp turns, avoid towering peaks, and fight unpredictable wind currents all the way down. To land at Paro, pilots need special training and certification. Only a handful of elite pilots are qualified to make this journey, and they can only attempt it during daylight hours with clear skies. There's no room for error when you're banking hard between mountains, adjusting your altitude with pinpoint precision to align perfectly with the short runway. Passengers often describe the experience as both awe-inspiring and terrifying. As the plane makes its final descent, you'll see the landscape unfold below you. Majestic monasteries perched on cliffs, rivers snaking through deep valleys, and then, just as you're about to land, the runway appears almost out of nowhere. But make no mistake, what feels like an exhilarating adventure for passengers is a true test of skill and nerves for the pilot. At Paro Airport, every landing is a battle against nature's extremes. It's a place where even the most seasoned aviators must remain laser-focused, because here, the mountains don't forgive mistakes. Number 2 is Courchevel Altiport, France. Nestled high in the French Alps, Courchevel Altiport is unlike any other. This small mountain airport is known for serving one of the most luxurious ski resorts in the world, but don't let the glitz and glamour fool you. Courchevel Altiport is a test of nerve, skill, and precision that challenges even the most seasoned pilots. Imagine flying over snow-covered peaks, breathtaking views of the Alps all around you. The beauty is deceiving, though. As you descend, the reality of what lies ahead starts to set in. Courchevel's runway is one of the shortest and most dangerous in the world, measuring just 1,762 feet, 537 meters. That's barely enough room for a small plane to land safely, and there's no room for error. And number 1 is Toncontín International Airport, Honduras ***. Now, Let's travel across the world to a different challenge. Toncontín International Airport in Tegucigalpa, Honduras. Toncontín is infamous for its hair-raising landings that are nothing short of terrifying for both pilots and passengers alike. Perched in a deep valley, surrounded by rugged mountains, and with a runway that's shorter than what commercial jets typically require, this airport has earned a reputation as one of the most dangerous in the world. As you approach Toncontín, you realize quickly that this is no ordinary landing. The city of Tegucigalpa sprawls below you, and just beyond it, a jagged mountain range comes into view. To land safely at Toncontín, pilots have to perform an incredibly sharp turn, known as a banking turn, just seconds before touching down. This maneuver is complicated, requiring absolute precision. One wrong move could send the plane off course, straight into the surrounding mountains. But the difficulties don't stop there. The airport's runway is only 6,112 feet, 1,860 meters, long, barely enough for large commercial planes. And unlike modern airports with long, flat runways, Toncontín's runway feels tight and constrained. After making the sharp descent, pilots must quickly align the plane with the short runway. There's little margin for error, and landing even slightly off-center could have catastrophic consequences. To add to the tension, the unpredictable weather conditions in the region can make things even more challenging. Strong winds, low visibility, and sudden shifts in weather are common here, making already dangerous landings even more precarious. It's no surprise that pilots who land at Toncontín require special training and certification, much like Courchevel. But here's the real kicker. The airport's location, right in the middle of a heavily populated area, means that any misstep could result in unimaginable tragedy. The steep hills surrounding the airport, combined with the narrow valley it sits in, create a bottleneck that leaves pilots with little room to maneuver. The plane has to descend quickly through a narrow approach path, and if it overshoots the runway, it's heading straight into urban terrain. There have been multiple accidents at Toncontín over the years, most of which occurred due to planes overshooting the runway or failing to navigate the tricky descent through the mountains. Despite improvements in safety and upgrades to the airport's infrastructure, Toncontín remains one of the most feared airports in the world. For passengers, the view from the window as the plane makes its final approach is breathtaking, but not in a good way. You can feel the plane banking sharply, the mountains seemingly close enough to touch, and the runway approaching faster than you'd like. For the pilots flying into Toncontín, there's no room for mistakes. They must rely on their skill, their training, and a little bit of luck to make it in and out of this perilous airport safely. It's a place where every landing feels like a victory, and every takeoff is a moment of relief. Both Courchevel Altiport in France and Toncontín International Airport in Honduras represent the extreme challenges pilots face at some of the world's most dangerous airports. These locations demand more than just technical skill. They require courage, precise judgment, and the ability to perform under pressure. Whether it's the treacherous mountains of Courchevel or the tight valley of Toncontín, these airports push aviation to its limits, making every landing an edge-of-your-seat experience. As we've seen, flying into these airports is no easy feat. Courchevel Altiport, with its treacherous slopes and unpredictable mountain winds, and Toncontín International, with its narrow approach and short runway, remind us that even in today's world of advanced aviation technology, nature still has the power to challenge the best of us. These airports push pilots to the edge, demanding skill, precision, and bravery. For those who fly in and out of these dangerous locations, every landing and takeoff is a test of nerve. And for passengers, it's an unforgettable experience, one that reminds us just how incredible and daring aviation can be. Thanks for joining us on this thrilling journey through the world's most dangerous airports. Make sure to subscribe for more eye-opening insights and heart-pounding stories from around the globe. And remember, next time you step onto a plane, take a moment to appreciate the incredible skill that goes into every flight, especially when the destination is as perilous as these. Stay curious, stay adventurous, and we'll see you in the next video.